The video started with laughter. Loud, careless laughter that echoed through my phone speakers as if it had every right to exist. I wasn't even supposed to see it. A cousin had sent it by mistake, followed by a quick, "Sorry, wrong chat," but by then it was too late. I had already pressed play. There they were, my parents, my older brother, even my aunt, sitting around the living room I grew up in, joking about me like I was some kind of punchline. "He's a pathetic failure," my brother said, grinning as he raised his glass. "Still can't get his life together." And everyone laughed. Everyone. I watched it 3 times. Not because I enjoyed it, but because I couldn't believe how easily they said it. How natural it sounded, like they'd been rehearsing those words for years. And maybe they had. What they didn't know, what none of them knew, was that the electricity powering that very room, the internet uploading that video, even the mortgage keeping a roof over their heads, had been quietly paid by me. For the past 5 years, I had been sending money home every single month. No announcements, no credit, just quiet transfers labeled as support. It started when my dad lost his job. Then my mom's health bills piled up. My brother couldn't hold a steady income. Someone had to step in, and I did. But I did it from a distance. I worked long hours in a city they barely asked about, living in a small apartment, skipping luxuries, saving every extra dollar just to make sure they were okay. I thought that was enough. I thought helping them was what mattered. But in their version of the story, I was nothing. The failure who moved away. The lost cause who didn't visit enough. The one who never made anything of himself. It didn't matter that I was the one holding everything together behind the scenes. Because I never said it out loud. I never defended myself. I let them believe whatever they wanted, because I thought love didn't need recognition. That night, something inside me cracked. Not loudly, not dramatically, just a quiet realization that settled deep in my chest. I wasn't angry at first. Just tired. Tired of being invisible. Tired of sacrificing for people who didn't even see me. I closed the video and sat in silence, staring at my reflection in the dark screen. For the first time in years, I asked myself a simple question: what would happen if I stopped? The next morning, I didn't send the usual transfer. It felt strange, almost wrong, like I was breaking some unspoken rule. My phone stayed quiet at first, but by the afternoon, the messages started coming in. My mom texted, "Hey, did you forget this month?" My dad followed with a more direct, "We need to pay the bills." "No, how are you?" No concern, just expectation. I stared at the messages for a long time before putting my phone down. I didn't reply. Days passed. Then came the calls. My brother sounded annoyed. "What's going on with you?" he asked. "Things are tight here." I almost laughed at the irony. Tight. They had no idea what tight really meant. I had lived on instant noodles for weeks just to make sure their lights stayed on. But I didn't say that. Not yet. I simply told him I was dealing with some financial adjustments. It wasn't a lie. I was adjusting to a life where I finally mattered to myself. A week later, I got another message. This time, it wasn't polite. "If you can't help, just say it," my dad wrote. "Don't disappear like this." That word, help, hit me harder than anything else. Help, as if what I'd been doing for years was just some small favor. As if it hadn't been the foundation of their entire stability. I felt something shift again. This time, it wasn't quiet. It was clarity. They didn't value me. They valued what I provided. And the moment that stopped, so did their patience. I went back to the video that night. Watched it one more time. Not to feel hurt, but to remember. To make sure I never forgot how easily they reduced me to nothing. And that's when I made a decision. If they wanted to see who I really was, I was done staying silent. The next time they gathered in that same living room, laughing, talking, living comfortably in a life they believed was theirs, I would make sure the truth walked in. And this time, I wouldn't be invisible. The invitation came 2 weeks later, as if nothing had changed. My mom called, her voice unusually warm. "We're having a family dinner this Sunday," she said. "You should come. It's been a while." I almost didn't recognize the tone. It was the same voice she used when she needed something, dressed up as affection. I paused for a second, then agreed. Not because I missed them, but because I was ready. Sunday evening felt strangely familiar. The same house, the same furniture, the same framed photos where I barely existed. As I walked in, no one hugged me. No one asked how I'd been. My brother gave a quick nod. My dad stayed focused on the TV. My mom smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. It was like stepping into a place that looked like home but didn't feel like it anymore. Dinner started with small talk. Then the tension surfaced. "So," my dad said casually, cutting into his food, "are things sorted now?" I knew exactly what he meant. I leaned back slightly, meeting his gaze for the first time that evening. "Depends on what you mean by sorted," I replied. He frowned. My brother jumped in. "The money," he said bluntly. "You stopped sending it." There it was. No hesitation. No shame. Just expectation laid bare on the table. I took a slow breath. Then I reached into my bag. "I brought something," I said quietly, placing my phone on the table. They all looked at it, confused. I tapped the screen and pressed play. The video filled the room instantly, the same laughter, the same words, the same moment they thought would never leave that space. "Pathetic failure," my brother's voice echoed, followed by their laughter. No one spoke. No one moved. The silence that followed was heavier than anything I had ever felt. My mom's face went pale. My brother looked away. My dad clenched his jaw, his confidence slipping second by second. I let the video play all the way through. Every second, every word, because this time, they needed to hear it the way I did. "You didn't know I saw this," I said calmly once it ended. "But I did." My voice didn't shake. It didn't need to. "And while you were saying all that, I was the one paying for this house. The bills, the food on this table." I paused, letting that reality settle in. "For 5 years." My mom whispered, "We didn't mean it like that." But even she didn't believe it. "You meant every word," I replied. My dad tried to regain control. "If you had a problem, you should have said something," he snapped. I almost smiled, not out of amusement, but because of how predictable it was. "I didn't have a problem," I said. "I had a role, and I played it quietly." I leaned forward slightly, until I realized I was the only one who cared. No one argued after that. Because there was nothing left to argue. I stood up slowly, looking around the room one last time. It felt smaller now, not physically, but emotionally. Like the illusion had finally collapsed. "I'm not,"